Hariom, everybody. Good morning and welcome back after a long summer break. I hope all of you had a good break. Before we begin, so Princey, has the link changed or something? Because okay, I had clicked on the one before, so that's why.
Just with our subscription, I had to reset up all the meetings. So all of the links are new, but if you use them from the website, it's the latest. But you can now bookmark this one for the year, and it should be fine.
Yeah. So Monday, is same thing happening with the Monday? I mean, we don't have a class tomorrow, but next Monday.
That one, the CM Calgary has yet to send the link, but once they do, I'll put it on the website, so you can always use that one as the latest source of truth.
Are they supposed to be sending a link? Did they say that? Or oh, they did. They did. Okay. So somewhere along the line, missed. Okay, that's fine. Let's begin with our prayers. Om. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. So we are on chapter 6, and we had completed 9 verses, but because there has been a gap and I see a couple of new people, I'm going to quickly revise the verses that we completed before the summer break. The 6th chapter is known as Dhyana Yoga, and Bhagavan is going to talk about meditation. And the reason that he has now come to meditation is because he gave the highest knowledge in chapter 2, if you recall, and Arjun didn't understand, obviously, because the mind was not purified enough. A major part of understanding Vedantic knowledge is the purity of the mind. So his mind was not as purified, and then so Bhagwan came down to his level, and he has laid, what he did in chapter 2 is put the seeds in there. So one seed he planted, and then those seeds will, as we go further in the Bhagavad Gita, we will see that those seeds, they sprout, and then Bhagwan explains. So the first seed that sprouted was in chapter 3, was Karma Yoga, because that is where we all have to begin to purify the mind. So Karma Yoga was explained in great detail in chapter 3. Chapter 4, he digressed a little bit to give the importance of the knowledge, because he says, I gave it first to Lord, Son, etc., and that the knowledge had been lost, and now he's reviving, as though reviving the knowledge. That is what actually Bhagavan Shankaracharya did as well. All the knowledge was kind of lost, and then he came about and sort of revived all these, by writing all the commentaries. So Bhagavan did the same thing in chapter 4. Chapter 5, Karma Sannyasa, he said, Sannyasa from karma, please understand, is not a physical withdrawal from karma, which can never ever happen, because you're going to be breathing till the last minute, and that is an action. So a complete physical withdrawal from karma is not possible. And so the withdrawal from karma is the withdrawal from its doership and enjoyership. And that is what sannyas is. And when we give up the doership and enjoyership. We are considered to have a pure mind. And then that pure mind is a quiet mind, is a still mind. And that still mind is then ready for meditation. We have to be meditation worthy. We have to be meditation ready for meditation. And it's got nothing to do with the body. It's only the mind, because what we meditate with, meditation comes from the word medit. Latin root of that word is medit, to think. And thinking is done by the mind. It is never done by the body. But we do need a comfortable body. And we will see those instructions as well. Why we need a comfortable body, like a healthy body. But right now, Bhagwan then starts this chapter by telling Arjun that Arjun is a householder, as we know. He's a yogi, he's a karma yogi. It's presumed that he has heard, so karma yogi. Bhagwan says that I'm willing to call a grahastha, a householder, as a sannyasi, if there's a big if there, if the householder is willing to give up the insistence on the result, karma phala tyaga, if he's willing to do, the householder, then I'm willing to call him a sannyasi. A sannyasi, a person doesn't become a sannyasi just by becoming niragni and cha akriyaha. So Agni representing action. And sannyasa is generally a renunciation of all actions, and we'll see why. So just because you've given up action physically, it doesn't mean you're a sannyasi. So you do not give up actions physically as a householder because you have desires. Actions will be there, but the result of that action, the insistence on the result of that action should not be there. This should not be misunderstood as I don't care for the result. That's wrong. Okay, that is wrong. It is not that I do not care for the result, because if I do not care for the result, then why do anything at all? It is not that I don't care. I want a particular result. That is why I do a particular action. If I want to be a doctor, I should take science subjects. No, I shouldn't just take any art subject. Oh, whatever, it's not like that. Whatever your goal is, whatever the result that you want, the action has to be as per that result. But action will be there, but to insist that that exact same thing must happen should be given up. And if that is given up for a grahastha, Bhagwan says, I'm willing to call him a sannyasi. That doesn't make us sannyasis. There is not suddenly, Bhagwan is giving us concession. That is what Bhagwan says. And in the second verse, he explains what is the commonality between sannyasa and yogi. And when he says yogi, it's a karma yogi, it's renunciation. So what is being renounced by both? Sannyasi has renounced desires itself. Prajahati yada kaman, chapter 2, Bhagwan said, Arjun asked, who is a sthita prajna? He says, sthita prajna is one who has killed all his desires in the mind, whose desires are all prajahati. Ha is to destroy, to kill. Hanti, that her prajahati, prakarshena jahati. Prakarshena means very well destroyed. When all the desires in the mind are very well destroyed, that person is a sthita prajna, that person is a sannyasi. So there is a renunciation there. But for householders, what is the renunciation? A householder cannot renounce desires. It's impossible. Desire is a thought. You cannot. So what Bhagwan is saying is, you renounce the insistence on the result. That is what Bhagwan is saying. And that is the common factor. Renunciation is there. For a sannyasi, it is desires itself. Now, he doesn't even have a desire. Why will he act? Because desire precedes action. Unless there is some or the other desire in the mind, nobody is going to act. There's a saying in Sanskrit, even a dull-witted person will not act unless there is some sort of desire in the mind. So that is a sannyasi. If you renounce the result, not the result, but the insistence on the result, I'm willing to call you a sannyasi. This is what Bhagwan is encouraging Arjun. Okay, encouraging us. And then he says, he uses the example of climbing the steed of the horse. And Gurudev's commentary, Gurudev says, the reason he uses that example is because Arjun is an army man. So he understands this horse and how to tame the horse and how to ride a horse. Those type of examples he will understand correctly. So Bhagavan says the one who has controlled his mind, he is considered as having controlled that horse, because the mind is like a horse. Later on also in this same chapter it will come. The horse, if you know the nature of a horse, the horse, first of all, doesn't sit. If it sits down, it is sick. It has to be put to sleep. It even sleeps when standing up. Rajas, it is a rajasic animal. So this horse is constantly moving, and the mind is like that. So he says the one who has controlled his mind, for him, withdrawal from action is recommended. That's what he's saying in verse 3. That one who has climbed the steed of his mind, that is how it is used, means one who has controlled the horse of the mind, he should withdraw, because then he has no desires. Then he can withdraw from action. Physical action also he can withdraw. If there is no desire, then why? But the one who is trying to control the mind, so that is a karma yogi. The karma yogi is one who is trying to purify the mind. Purification of mind is control of the mind. The more purified the mind is, the more it is going to listen to the intellect, because the intellect is always going to say the correct things, and the mind is going to say, no, it's okay, let me do this, let me do that, right? So the more the mind is purified, the more it will be under the control of the intellect. That means it is going to follow the correct things. It is going to, and so a karma yogi is trying to purify the mind. For the one who is trying, action is recommended. Karma is recommended. And here karma means karma yoga, not karma with doership. So karma yoga with the 5 principles. Okay. And then Bhagavan says, when do you consider a person to have climbed the steed of his mind? Bhagavan says in 4, Yada hi nendriyartheshu na karma svanushachade, means when the mind does not run out with the senses. When there is, when you say the mind is completely under control, is when there is something which will make you extroverted, something which will make you fall, you don't. That is when it is considered. That's why I've always recommended 80-20. It's 100%. Mind is very, very strong. Understand that, okay? Mind is not weak. Our mind is extremely strong. It will pull you down. It will pull you down. So 20%, you know what? Go with the mind, but 80% for spirituals, very, very essential when we are on the spiritual path, that at least 80% of the time we must have the mind under our control, complete control. Okay. And then sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudhasta uchate. Uchate, it is said that the one who has given up all sankalpas, what is sankalpa? Samyak kalpana. Samyak kalpana, imagination. Samyak, very well. What have we very well imagined at our stage is that there is happiness in the world. That is the main bottom thing. Otherwise, nobody will do anything. Nobody does anything to get sorrow. Everybody thinks whatever they do is going to give them happiness, whatever it may be. Getting married, getting a job, getting money, getting a big house, car, whatever that you think of in this material world, you are doing it for happiness. But you think that is your samyak kalpana. The sannyasi is one who has given up this kalpana. Kalpana is imagination. It's an imagination. You are looking for happiness where it is not. Where it is not. So that's the reason we never find that ultimate happiness. So this is the one who has sarva sankalpa sannyasi. Sannyasi, one who has renounced, one who has what? Sarva sankalpa, all sankalpas, all fanciful imaginations have been given up. That is now a sannyasi, and he is called as control. We are not there. We don't have to be there. We are on the journey. We are on the path. Okay. But keeping the mind and the senses under control. Shama and Dhamma, we have seen these words very often. Shama is control of the mind. Dhamma is control of the senses. Control of the senses means when you don't allow the object to enter your senses. Okay? I'll explain this a little. I mean, I'm sure most of you have understood, especially who came to the Vivek Chudamani class. And Dhamma is where the mind is, Shama is where the mind is not allowed to go out. See, in this, the sense organs, it's easy to control a little bit. Suppose you see something, you can close your eyes. Okay. So what does it mean when you do not allow that object to enter your mind? So you see something, when that object affects you. One of us, Swamiji, very beautifully said, let not the BMI run after the BMW. So what is happening is, you see a BMW, and now the mind, that BMW now enters your mind, and now the mind starts, oh, my husband never gave me a BMW, only gave me a Toyota, like, oh, da, 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 da. It's so nice. What a nice car, da, da, da. So you have allowed that object to enter the mind. All right. Mind is more subtle. You may be sitting in the house and you're nothing, you're sitting quietly, and the mind will run out. Mind doesn't need senses to run out. That day, that one came in that sort of a car. Oh, she was wearing that jewelry. I don't have it. So the mind is running out without the senses. Now that person is not in front of you. That person is not there. The jewelry is not there. But you saw it somewhere, or you saw it in some store. And then that mind is now running to that store and then saying, oh, that was so nice. I don't have it. So that is controlling that way is Shama. And when actually physically you see an object and not letting that object come into your mind, it'll come, because you see, when the sense organs have no choice but to see, hear, taste, eyes are open, they will see. Ears are open, they will hear. They don't have a choice, but we have a choice. We have a choice. Let not that mind get affected by whatever is seen, heard, tasted, smelled, etc., etc. Okay? And if that is done, then you have climbed the steed of the mind, or the steed of the horse. And the next was very important. I told you, whenever you fall, it is only you, because there is nobody else. Physically you fall, okay, somebody else can help you and lift you up. But when your mind is falling, it is your own mind. And I explained to you, we have these 5 personality layers, right? So each subtle layer controls the gross. So the pranas are controlling the body. The mind is controlling the pranas, intellect, the mind, and finally the spiritual personality we have. So if we always hold on to that spiritual personality, all other personalities will automatically come under control. If we can't hold on to the spiritual, it is hard. Then let the pranas determine what the body should or should not do. The pranas are the ones that are controlling the physiological functions in the body. Okay, so if you think that this particular food you cannot digest, that is what the pranas are telling you, don't eat. Don't eat. Let the pranas control. Let the pranas are telling you. I recall there was a Mrs. Kapahi, she's no more now, but it was her birthday, and I said, I'll come and take you out. And she said, nahi, I can't digest that food, she said. So now see, she has given up to the pranas. She knows, each one of us, I don't know what you can handle or not handle. And that is how, suppose if the pranas are all fine, pranas are all fine, they can eat, body is fine. But mind is saying, you know what? Tomorrow your weight is very, very sensitive issue. Your weight is going to increase. Don't eat. So the pranas are fine. But if the mind says, the pranas cannot do. This is how you control yourself by yourself. This is what he's saying. Lift yourself by yourself. Do not, because there is nobody else. You know why there is nobody else? Because we will not listen to anybody. We don't even listen to our own doctor. So what to talk about other people? Then what do you know? Doctor only doesn't know. Doctor is telling you you're borderline diabetic. Don't eat. Oh, what does he know? So that's why it's only you. You are in control of yourself. You need to decide, can I digest this? Can I tolerate this? Can I this thing? And I told you, finally, spiritual personality is the best, because everything may be normal and no diabetes, no blood pressure, you can eat anything, but it's your fast day. You say, no, doesn't matter. Today I'm fasting. I cannot eat any of this. This is how the spiritual personality can control all the other layers, because it is the highest, it is the subtlest. By highest, we mean subtlest. And in the chart, it is the Om. Then Bhagavan goes to say that the self is the friend. The mind can be your own friend, and the mind itself is we have only one mind. That mind becomes a friend when it is introverted. When it is under the control of the intellect, it is our friend. I told you, friend and enemy. Who is the friend? Friend is somebody who helps you with your goal, and enemy is somebody who will take you away from the goal. So if the mind goes out through the senses, then it is your enemy, because it is making you extroverted. It is telling you there is happiness in that. There is, what is there, eat, when it is doing those kinds of things, when it is going out, it is your enemy. But when it is under the control of the intellect, saying, no, don't do it, that's not correct, then it is your friend. And that's why he says that for the one who has not controlled his mind, the mind is an enemy. If your mind is not under your control, it is your enemy. And it is all about the mind, because the intellect is very subtle, and the intellect is like your conscience, which will always tell you the correct things. It's the mind that has got no, mind will run here, run there. All right, that's all. Now 7, 8 and 9, Bhagavan talks about samatha, very, very important word in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, if for those of you who have not heard, but right from the beginning, we see that the problem, Arjun's problem was mamata, ma and ta. Mata, the last two alphabets, mata is intellect, mati, mata. So that is the, and ma is mine, because that's what is his problem. My grandfather, my guru, my this, my, that was the problem. And for that problem, the antidote is sa mata. So that mata remains the same. That first ma is becoming sa. So in chapter 2, Bhagavan already said, samatvam yoga uchyate. What is yoga? Yoga is to join to the higher. To join to the higher, equipoise is required. Equipoise is the method to join to the higher. You know why? Because the highest Brahman is equipoised. In chapter 9, it will come, nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Brahma is always sama. It'll always. So if you want to reach that position, then you also have to be sama. And that is what 7, 8, and 9 are telling us. So with 7, it is equipoised towards the thoughts. See, we have thoughts, we have outside situations, and then we have outside people. These are the three things that we have. So inside thoughts, when they come, and what is thought? This is hot, this is cold, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm this, I'm that, I'm sick, I'm not sick, I'm whatever thought, I'm beautiful, I'm not beautiful. These thoughts, we have to be equipoised. What happens to us is, when there's something happy we hear, we jump up and down and call 100 people, and and then when there's something bad happen, then we're totally depressed, and then we're this. That should not happen. That's why in chapter 2, he said, Sukha Dukhe Same Krutva. So you remain sama, Sukha will come, Dukha will come. It is the order of life. The human birth is because of 50% papa, 50% punya, 50% merit, 50% demerit. So when there is demerit, when it fructifies, sorrow will come. When the merit fructifies, happiness will come. And this will keep, it's like the waves. The waves keep coming. You remain like the lighthouse. Gurudev's example it is, if you remain like the lighthouse, no matter what waves come, if you are like a log of wood, you'll go up, you'll go down, up, down, up, down. That up, down should not happen. Samata. There is a Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukha, and Mana, Apmana. So Shita, hot and cold is regarding the body, because that's where we feel it. And then Sukha Dukha is in the mind, and Mana Apmana, honor dishonor, is in the intellect. So at all three levels of your personality, remain equanimous. If there is cold, now already somebody is saying, oh, we had a nice summer, now extreme winter is coming in. Okay, so now, okay, you enjoyed the summer. Even today is going to be hot, like we're almost September, mid, that you want to enjoy. Yeah? Then when no cold, that doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. Then you shouldn't have taken this summer. But see, you cannot refuse it also. It has come. You cannot refuse that summer, right? So if you cannot refuse the summer, don't refuse the winter, and don't complain. Don't complain also. And Vedanta is not telling you not to wear warm clothes and warm shoes and nothing. Start the heat and enjoy it. That is what I mean. Then the next one is samatvam with regards to objects. So sama, loshta, ashma, and kanchana. He says the one who is jnana, vijnana, truptat. Jnana, vijnana means one who has the knowledge as well as the wisdom. Okay, he is kuta anvil. So he remains undisturbed, unperturbed. He vijitendriya, visheshena jitendriya means one who is one over the indriyas. Indriyas is sense organs, organs of action, organs of perception. Organs of action, you don't have to worry that much, because if the organs of perception are under control, see, the organs of action are taking orders from the organs of perception. Okay, the eyes see the car, then through the mind, of course, then the mind wants the car, and then the mind tells the body to go and buy that car. It is like that. So if you don't want the car only, then the body is not going to go there and just simply buy the car just because, whatever. So organs of action are, they're a little bit easier to control. If you don't want something, you're not going to run after that object. Okay, the legs are not going to go running after something that I don't want. So that's why when they say Indriya actually means both, but more control has to be on the organs of perception and the mind. And such a person is a yogi, he says. And then for him, this dirt and stone and dirt and kanchana, gold, earth, stone, and gold are the same. Are the same means he understands the value of each of them. Please understand, same means but sameness, where the sameness is, it's in all three. He knows as the not self. That is the ultimate viveka that is to be done between the self and the not self. So that samatha he has now, that whether it is gold, but in his mind he knows that if somebody has to make ornaments, of course gold is required. If somebody has to build a house, of course stone is required or dirt is required. So that value he knows. But then it doesn't affect him. And I told you the story of Sant Jnaneshwar, where his sister and he were walking, and then she covered, there was a gold, whatever ring or whatever fallen on the road, and she covered it with dirt, mud, because she thought my younger brother might be tempted to, because they were very poor. They didn't even have food to eat. So he thought, is my younger brother, he might, or my brother might think. Then Sant Jnaneshwar said, why are you covering one dirt with another dirt? That is this Samalur. Both are dirt only, both are not self only. In Maya, is there both not self? What is there to cover one not self with another not self, right? For us, we will say gold this. And then the next one is with regards to people, verse 9, and that's why we had completed it. So there are these 9 types of people that Bhagavan has enumerated. And then he may be a well-wisher, a friend, a mediator, madhyastha, then one whom people hate, or maybe he may not like the, even on the spiritual path, what happens is that when people are very extroverted, then it's kind of hard to be with them. But for us, we should be, in the sense, if such a person also asks for our help, then we should give it as if it's okay. Whatever you can help with, you should. That is that equanimity, because it happens like that. And there is a enemy. There is one papi is one who are not seeing the truth, they're not thinking the way we are thinking. That is what papi here remains. Ari, enemy, this enemy also, see, the question might come, why there is an enemy? Why does realized master see anybody as an enemy? He doesn't see anybody as an enemy, but other people might see him as an enemy. And the example, the thought that came to me was Jesus Christ. See, the Romans, because I just went to Israel and came, that's why. So the Romans, declared him to be a criminal, and then they made him carry the cross, and they put him on the cross. And what did he say? He said, forgive them, O Lord, for they don't know what they're doing, right? So if he didn't think of them as enemy, they thought of him as an enemy. And that is what this means. So he was same only to them, right? This is what it means. So this is the portion that we had covered. For those of you who are new, the lectures are available on YouTube. They're on YouTube, right? So you can go and listen to the detailed explanation. I just gave a synopsis of it. And now begins the instructions for meditation. Okay. For those of you who are listening to the Upanishad, you will find that the instructions here and the instructions in Upanishad are way, way different. because the student is different. Okay, it's not anything, it's the student. But at our level here, we need all these things we need. Yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi sthitah ekakiyata chittatma nirashira parigrahah. Let the yogi try constantly to keep the mind steady, remaining in solitude, alone with the mind and body controlled, free from hope and greed. The yogi here is a karma yogi. He's not a sannyasi, okay? Because there is effort that is being told. If it was a sannyasi, then he would have wherever he is, he will be in samadhi only. So this is not referring to that. So yogi is the karma yogi, and he is now trying yunjit. What is he trying to? Yunjit, to attach to the higher. Yunjit also is coming from yuj dhatu, to join. So he's trying to join to the higher, and that's why he is trying to purify the mind. He's trying to control the steed of the mind. Okay, he's all trying, and while he's trying, he can also try this meditation. That is what it is. Okay, so is it then what? Satatam. Satatam tat dhatu. Tat is that which has gone everywhere. So satatam is continuous. Now, for a yogi, he is a householder, say suppose he's a householder, to say that 24/7 he has to, do this, it's not possible, because he has to go to work, he has got other duties, etc., etc. So understand these instructions to be done at least 10 minutes, 5 minutes, as whatever time that you can give during the day. Understand these instructions meant for that period of time. Okay, continuously throughout the day, you can keep on remembering the instructions and follow those. So because you'll be doing karma throughout the day, so that throughout the day, the karma that you do it as karma yoga. Do it with the principles of karma yoga. Okay, so what will happen is, Gurudev has said this, half an hour meditation requires 23.5 hours of preparation. So the previous 23.5 hours, you have to spend in a certain way. You can't be totally extroverted and then partying and this, and then suddenly in the morning you say, oh, now I'm going to sit for meditation. It'll be difficult. It is not possible. So that's what it is. So throughout the day, if you keep on doing karma yoga, trying to do karma, every karma is karma yoga, the mind will become that much peaceful. So when you sit in meditation, for meditation, and morning time is the one that is prescribed generally, because you're fresh, your mind is fresh, you've slept, your body is fresh, and that's why. So satatam atmanam rahasi sita. So satatam atmanam here it has got nothing to do with the supreme reality, is the mind. Because body, I told you, body has got, there is no direct relationship between body and meditation, except for the fact that the body has to be healthy enough to sit in one place for some time. That is the purpose of the body. But other than that, there is no. So yunjita satatam. So constantly to keep the mind steady. So atmanam is mind, and sthita is to steady. Sthita, stha dhatu is to stay. So the mind has to stay at a particular place. That is what steady is. What is steady? What is unsteady? Steady means today, just now mind is thinking of that. Then mind is, oh, what will I eat for lunch today? What will I, where will I go? What will I wear? This is how the mind is running everywhere. But in the seat of meditation, try to keep it at one spot. Okay? Rahasi sthita, keep the mind steady, and rahasi in a solitary spot, which means, what it means is, meditation cannot be done on a busy airport or a busy train station. Don't try to meditate on there. If you're traveling, it is my meditation time, I will, no. That is what it means. Rahasi said, sitting in a solitary place. Okay, ekaki, in solitude, alone. Now that's one thing. So ekaki negates guided meditation. Ekaki, see, we of course we do guided meditation. Okay, mission does. Swamiji's do guided meditation during yajna time or whatever. It is required just as a guidance. But when you are actually now trying to realize that self, you must be alone. That's why Gurudev has said this is a journey alone to the alone. You do not have the company even of your own spouse. It is alone. Okay, so sitting, not like, oh, we'll do a joint meditation session. There cannot be a joint meditation session. And in the higher states, there is no guided. Swamijis can do guided meditation. We used to do in the class as well, guided meditation. I have guided in meditation as well. We have to. Sometimes we go and then they say, okay, now you do it. But that is just so that the people get the practice. Okay, when you are actually doing, you must be alone, ekaki, solitude. Mind also must be alone, not thinking, oh, my wife, my husband, my child, my grandchild, that sort of thing the mind must not have. Ekaki. Yata chitta, here chitta and atma. Yata chitta and atma, that is the word there. Yat chit and atma. Chit means mind, atma means body. Again, here Atma, I told you Atma word will have multiple meanings. That is why we need somebody to correctly explain. So Yata is under control. Yatati or Yati word is there. Yati is one who has complete control over whatever. So here Yat, Chit and Atma. Chit mind, Atma body. And then Nira Ashi and Aparigraha. So there are two words there. Nira is the prefix, which means without. So without Asha, without hope. What is without hope? Okay, what hope? So in meditation, sometimes one hope people have in meditation is to gain siddhis. Siddhis are supernatural powers. Okay, and they can you can see, meditation is, it can give you a wide range of results. So if you actually concentrate, they say, on the gandha tan matra or some one this thing, it will give you supernatural powers. But in Vedantic meditation, and Gurudev always said, that is not our goal. Okay, so that's why what he says here is that type of asha. Some people think, oh, they saw light in meditation. Then one person told me, oh, God talks to me in meditation. It doesn't have, that is not correct. What is happening is he's talking to himself in meditation, why do we need meditation? I'm constantly talking to myself only. I have nobody else to talk to. Right? that doesn't mean God is talking to me. But he said, oh, God comes in my meditation and talks to me. Then I said, you wouldn't have been in class. Actually, if the God was talking to you, then you shouldn't have been in class only. Why do you need me then, if God is only talking to you? So those type of asha, those type of hopes you must not have. Okay, I'll see some light, I'll hear some sound, I'll hear some ringing bell. No. And another meaning of this word asha is false hopes. Those are all falling under false. What is a false hope? Is expecting sweetness from salt. That is a false hope. And in Vedanta, what is a false hope? Is expecting happiness from the world. That is a false hope. Those type of hopes we must not have. So nirashi, ekaki, alone, without any support, and then mind and body completely under control. And parigraha is to hoard things. Okay, so one meaning is at the gross level, where we are the more things we hoard, the more worries we'll have. Now this will get destroyed, somebody will ask for that, so you have more money, people are afraid, why is she smiling at me, so the more one thing is the physical hoarding in around us, and the other thing is the mental hoarding. That is more important here, because it's meditation. So if we have less possessions outside, the mind also will be free of all those. And at a certain stage in our life, we should be able. Vanaprastha, that's what the book, How to Live in Old Age. There's a book called How to Live in Old Age. In that, this Vanaprastha ashram, they say whatever minimum you require for the sustenance of your body, you keep. Don't keep so many things, like that. So this aparigraha here mainly means the mind, like thoughts in the mind. Don't have any thoughts in the mind. The more purified the mind is, the less thoughts will be there, the less worries will be there. There are two kinds of thoughts that we are generally. One is worrying. Okay, one is we have worries. Then what happens is we reach a stage where, by God's grace, we are financially stable, children are stable, job is stable, everything is stable. So there is really, yet sometimes there are people who worry about everything is stable and yet they worry. There's the imagination, oh, what if I get poor? What if I get this? What if? So for spiritual seekers, we must not be worried about those things. But then what happens is, mind goes into fanciful imaginations. That is where the mind wanders. So that also has to be controlled. Because in the seat of meditation, if your mind starts wandering into, so nice it will be, I'll go there, then this will have that, then meditation is lost. So that both those things have to be controlled. Okay, worries as well. Worry also is in the future, because you cannot worry about things that have happened in the past. And fanciful imaginations are also in the future, because whatever happened, happened. Now, what is there to imagine about the past? It is about the future itself. Okay. So this for this body control in Patanjali, because Patanjali's Yoga Sutras give the complete this thing. What it says is, you must be able to keep the body asan siddhi. It is called. He calls it asan. When does a person reach asan siddhi? Asan siddhi means your body will remain in that one position as long as you want. So no movement of the body at all. Okay. And that is if you can keep the body in one position for 30 minutes. It's a very, very high bar. Okay. So in the beginning, practice sitting at one place for 5 minutes. That is where you have to start meditation, especially for Rajasic people, when there is so much Rajas in the mind, because you're constantly jumping with a to-do list. What should I do next? What should I do next? Then what you do is practice 5 minutes. You say, these 5 minutes, I'm not going to think about anything. And even if I think, my body is not going to move. Even if I think that I have to do this huge list, these 5 minutes are my minutes. They're my time for practice of meditation. I'm going to hold the body still for 5 minutes. Try doing that. Okay. And that is the reason that the body has to be maintained healthy. Because if the body is not healthy, if there is an ache here, there is a pain there, the mind will get distracted. That is the reason a spiritual seeker must be, eat healthy, rest well, do all the things which are good for the, with that in mind, that when I sit for meditation, my body will listen to me. Not like people should think how young I am and how beautiful I look. And those type of things, when we maintain the body, should not be there. The essence of maintaining the body is to be sure that in the seat of meditation, this body is not going to bother me. This is one. So these are the internal adjustments that Bhagwan has given. Okay, what is it? The sitting alone. First of all, external also you be alone, and mind also be alone. And then without false hopes and without any kind of hoarding of thoughts. So if you hoard less stuff outside, there'll be less thoughts also. And the next verse is the external adjustments. Okay. Any questions so far? All okay? All right. Shuchau deshe pratisthapya sthiramasanamaatmanah natyushchitam nati nicham chailarjina kushottaram. Having in a clean spot established a firm seat of his own, neither too high nor too low, made of cloth, a skin, and kusha grass, one over the other. Now, let me begin this explanation with what Gurudev said. So Gurudev went to a city and he said, this is how it is. You have to sit with kusha grass and then a animal skin on top and a cloth. And he explained and he went off. Then after 1 year, he came to the same city, and one person came to him and said, Gurudev, you said to meditate, but you know what? I couldn't. I couldn't. And Gurudev said, why? He said, I couldn't find kusha grass. So how can I meditate? Okay. So understand the essence. This verse was in those times when people went to the forest or to a mountaintop. See, this Shuchau Deshe, Deshe is not country, it is a place. Shuchau is clean, and clean is pure. Now, there are certain places which are automatically considered pure, like in the forest, where there is, a lot of oxygen because there are so many trees. It's clean. And then, or on top of a mountain, or on the banks of a river, these are naturally pure and quiet, right? Because in the forest, there's not too much traffic, this, that, and all that. So the Vanaprasthi, that time they used to actually do prasthan, means departure. They would go to the Vana only, forest. So that's where this meditation was being done. Now what happens is, in that place, let me explain this kusha grass. So the grass keeps the insects away. That was the purpose. Okay. Then the grass will poke you. So they put a cloth on top of that. All right. And then you will sweat. So to prevent that, then you put, no, sorry, I'm sorry. So that the grass doesn't prick you, you put the deer skin or tiger skin that way. And then so that you don't sweat on it, you put a cloth, cotton cloth on it. This was when you were doing it in the forest. Okay. Now we do not go to the forest. Okay, we have a special room. We have our own rooms. We have a carpet there, so we don't need grass. There is no insects coming in, especially in this country. Okay, so that must not be used as a thing. I don't have this, so I can't meditate. Okay, the other thing is, so Shuchau Deshe, clean. So keep the carpet clean, and we generally do. There's vacuuming, there's washing carpet, etc., etc. And also if solitude, so you can do it in the room early morning. And sthira, that asana should be sthira. So this sthira here also, it is in the house when we do. Of course, the floor is not going to be moving or anything, but these instructions are for people who are there. Okay, that's why that asana should be there. Means what? Means don't go like on the top of a cliff where suppose you doze off, you can fall into the valley. That is what it is. We don't have those problems. Okay, we are not, don't go on the top of your roof and sit and meditate. That would be it. Don't sit on the top of the roof. Oh, it's very quiet up here. Let me, because if you doze, you might fall off that thing. And neither too high nor too low. So low means if you're sitting on the banks of a river, don't go too that if the river suddenly, the water might wash you off. That is what the meaning is for, because this is for the, so understand, okay? Understand the essence of it. So what is the essence of this? First of all, the place should be clean. So, there are not so any bad odors, this thing, that thing. So we don't have to worry. This verse, it's an external thing, which we are very lucky. Then, and don't sit on a hardwood floor. Let me tell you, do not sit for meditation on a hardwood floor, because no, or make sure that you have a really nice thick pillow. But best is to sit on a carpet. If you can't sit with folded legs, it is okay. You can sit on a chair. Okay, sit on a chair. It's okay. Meditation is with the mind. It doesn't matter where the body is sitting, but don't go sit on the roof of don't sit in a dangerous place. If by some fluke you doze off, where you'll fall. That is what this means. And so pratishtha, establish yourself in a firm and steady place. Means what? If the place is only shaking, now you say, oh, what is happening? Oh. Not a rocking chair. Meditation, you must not do in a, let me rock and meditate. No. It's not sthira. Okay, or on a, lying down is a tamasic position. Sitting is sattvic and standing is rajasic. And therefore, all meditation must be done sitting down. If you're sitting on the chair, it's okay. If you're sitting on the floor, it's okay. If you can sit with folded legs, it's okay. But at some point, if you can't, then you sit on a chair. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Idea is, make sure that the body is not so much comfortable that it'll fall asleep, but it is comfortable that your mind doesn't go there. See, if you have knee problems and now you fold, then the knee is going to hurt, then this happened, then that happened. So don't do that. If you can, you do. If you don't, do it. Sit on the carpet. I would suggest a carpet, because I have sat for bhajans on the hardwood floor, and even just that much was like, it was painful. So don't do that. And then not too high, not too low. We don't. And then don't worry about the kusha grass. You really don't need grass. You don't need the animal skin. Don't go killing an animal. Ahimsa, don't do that. They're not required. That time it was valid. That time it was valid. If you're going to go into the forest, and then the insects will be there, they should not bother you. That was the idea. Okay. So you get this. Okay, simple word. These are simple instructions for meditation. So we should, the 10 is more important, because it is internal adjustment. As the mind gets purer and purer, that 10 will become easy. Okay. Yeah. Satata Atmanam. So the mind, keeping the mind steady. Ultimately, Vedantic meditation, you have to keep the mind steady on Aham Brahmasmi. That's the highest, which the Upanishad will tell. But here Bhagavan is saying, just keep the mind steady, because we cannot at our stage keep the mind steady even for 2 minutes. Think about it. The mind is constantly running, constantly running. The more sattva you develop, the more the mind will remain steady. So this is what it is. Sit in a solitary place. We have our own rooms, bedroom, whatever. I remember Guruji telling in India, he said, okay, early morning is a good time for meditation. Please don't get up at 4 o'clock and chant loudly, so that other people in the house will wake up. So you have to be considerate of that. You know what I mean? Yeah, they said cha cha om. If you start doing in the first thing in the morning, other people are all sleeping. Don't do that. Don't. You can just do om softly in your mind. Om, om. You can do om. So try not to disturb the other people, because then it is like, okay, this is true. Then what do I do? Oh, any questions? We'll read. No questions. Everybody okay? These are simple enough. We'll read the next verse, but we'll probably complete it next time. Tatraikagram mana kritva yata chittendriya kriyah upavishyasane yujat yogam atma vishuddhaye. What he's telling in chapter 12 is the purpose of meditation. Remember, this is Bhagavad Gita. Remember, this is for householders. Remember, the student is like us, with likes and dislikes. Because that's why I'm telling you that these instructions in the Upanishad are going to be totally different. And then you're going to say, if you remember this in the meanwhile, by Friday, you're going to say, yeah, but Bhagwan said that. Now this one is saying this. You should not. That's why it is dependent on the student. What instructions are given by the teacher and how the teacher is explaining is dependent on the student. Remember, student is Arjun here. Student is not highly accomplished. Okay. So what purpose he's giving is, there, having made the mind one-pointed, with the actions of the mind and the senses controlled, being seated on the seat, let him practice yoga for the purification of the self. And the self is with small s. Because if it was with big S, it would mean the pure consciousness. What is there to purify the pure consciousness? So what is the purpose of meditation at this stage is to only purify our own mind. That is the importance. At this stage, this is what meditation is. At our stage, is to purify the mind. And what is purified mind is a mind which can remain steady. That is the first step. Learn to keep it steady at one point. One point, maybe your Ishta Devata, whatever point, And when that mind gets used to being steady, then you'll change the goal. Right now, because this is means to reach the highest. It is the means, because the student is not ready. The student is not ready. So Bhagwan here is saying, Tatra ekagram mana kritva. Mind is anekagra right now, multi-directional. It is running in multiple directions. Okay, so having made, kritva, having made, tatra, thereafter. So now we did two. We had 10 and 11. We had one internal adjustments, external adjustments. Now, having done those, now you make the mind steady at one spot. Yata chitta indriya akriyaha. So chitta here, mind, senses. So eyes, there was I think sorry he said, one person came to him and said, Swamiji, in the seat of meditation, I get the best ideas. Can I sit with a notebook and pen? So when the idea comes immediately, absolutely not. That is what is akriya means. But in my own life, what I've noticed, and I don't claim to do meditation, I'm only practicing because, like my acharya said, you just practice to create vasanas for your next birth. Why even if the mind is not steady and ready, why do I have to? The question is, mind is not ready, should I do meditation? That is the question. Yes, even if the mind is not ready, do meditation, because when you do this meditation, when you follow these, you are creating a vasana which will then fructify in your future births. So all of us, whether the mind is ready or not, decide, after my prayers, I'm going to do this much meditation. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever. Sit and practice. And that is to create the vasana. Okay. So here, Krutva, Yata Chitta, I just this thing, Upavishasane. So sitting close, close, sitting close to your own self, keeping the mind steady. And why should I do this? Is to purify the mind. Another reason is to create a vasana for my future birth. We'll talk about this verse more in detail. Om swasti prajabhyav paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobrahmanebhyo shomastु nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam kshobarahita brahmana santu nirbhayaha. Om sarvesham swasti bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम।